Hi everyone, I'm Shuhan Jiang, and today my team member Xintian Zhang and I was discussing the topic the influence of rulers on love and power in Renaissance literature. We will be discussing how rulers of the Italian Renaissance treated marriage and used power. Through this semester of study, we have learned about the artistic works of the Italian Renaissance and the background of the times. Through reading, we have learned that at that time the feudal rulers and the churches oppressed the people and controlled their power. For now, we want to make the point in the assignment is rulers should perform their duties more than abuse their power to influence people's lives, love, and behavior. The reference masterpiece I choose is Boccaccio's Decameron, which is also the first Italian Renaissance work I learned this semester. I have selected a few stories from it to support my point of view. What I will discuss is about how rulers of the Italian Renaissance treated marriage. First, in the fourth story on the first day of Decameron, it is about a monastery in Lenigali. There is a little monk who has moved with lust. He violated the monastic rules and brought a woman into the house to have sex. The sin was discovered by the dean of the monastery. In order not to be punished, the little monk pretended to leave and gain the key to the den. When the dean entered the room and saw the woman, the lust in his heart also broke out, so he himself ignored the monastery's precepts and had sex with woman. This is the return of the little monk. The dean can only exempt the little monk from being punished because he has violated the precepts. At the same time, he will keep the secret together with him. In the same time, this is also an absurd story in my opinion. In this story, the erotic desires of human nature are undoubtedly revealed. The actions of the little monks and deans are entirely for their own selfish desires. At the same time, it also shows the objectification of women. The woman in the movie, have low ability to resist and protect themselves, so they can only be violated one after another. In the end, they also show neglect of social order. This is most obvious in the character of the Abidin, which he originally discovered the little monk violated the commandment but made the same mistake. It can be seen from the story that the abuse of power by the rulers affects woman's ability to pursue marital happiness, which is disgusting. Then, in the first story on the fourth day, I was moved by this poignant love story. The protagonist of the story is the princess of a country. The king of this country has only her one child. Her husband's early death brought her back to his father's side. The king did not arrange marriage for her because of his love for her, but she met someone she loved, Kiscardo, the attendant in the palace, and they became lovers. But in the end, the king took care of her. He found the truth. The king arrested Kiscardo and called the princess to her explanation, but the princess bravely defended her reputation. She believes that love should not value her statue, and she is willing to use her life to prove it. The king ordered the killing of Kiscardo, and gave Kiscardo's heart in the gold cup to the princess. The princess resolutely drank the poison from the cup and protected her love with her life. This story made me see the greatness of love, and at the same time, I also very much agree with the concept of love expressed in it. Love between two individuals should be determined by the identity, wealth, or material conditions of the other, but should be attracted by the character and morals of the other, so that we can choose the one who truly loves each other. But as the story shows, the excessive intervention caused by the ruler's use of power destroyed this touching love, and their marriage failed to have a good ending. At last, in the 10th story on the 10th day, the subordinates of the Marquis of Saluzon repeatedly begged him to settle the family. According to his own heart, he married a peasant girl and gave birth to a son and a daughter. In order to test the virtues of his wife, he pretended to have put the children to death in front of her, and later pretended to abandon her, marry another new partner, and drove her back to her humble little family. At the same time, he brought back the adult doctor who was forestalled in another town, claiming that this is the new person he wants to marry. His wife was always obedient, and the Marquis took her back to meet her grown-up children. From then on, the Marquis showed great kindness to her, loved her very much, and respected her as a marquise. In this story, the husband, as a ruler, relies on his status and power to arbitrarily control his wife and test his wife's love for him through the so-called test. This kind of marriage is distorted and at the same time ruining, in order to satisfy their own desire for domination. Through these three stories, I have seen the destruction of marriages caused by the abuse of power by the rulers during the Italian Renaissance. I think this is disgraceful. As a ruler, you should use your power to fulfill your obligations and promote social progress rather than abuse your power to satisfy your own selfish desires, to interfere or even destroy the sacredness and beauty that marriage should have.
To sum up, the rulers have strong power. This allows these rulers to wantonly interfere in emotional problems of others, like they want to control others' love problem. But as rulers, they should understand their obligations to learn to use their power to govern a country well. In my opinion, Chapter 6 and Chapter 7 have two ways to rulers to obtain a new mortuary. The 6th chapter is about winning by military brutality and blackmail, and the 7th chapter is about a new mochi obtained by force or good luck. I think the method described in chapter 7 is more reliable, because if you win by relying on other fate, you will be dominated by other fate in the future. In Chinese history, many kings were free to help them become important ministers or emperors, so they would limit their power. Relying on the method mentions in Chapter 6, rulers will have more independence to rule the country, because they always have their own ideas and rights. People will submit their rule. Different period, different social environments, and different nation culture will have different methods. But as long as the people can live in a good life, the people will love it and not oppress their king. Chapter 17 tells about cruelty and kindness, and which is better to be loved or feared. According to my knowledge, I still want to cite the example of Qin The Qing dynasty unified China, reformed the central and local political system, strengthened centralizations of power. In fact, prompt unifications and built a Qing Road, Post Road, and the Great Wall, attacking the Huns in the north, conquering South Vietnam, digging Linquay. However, he also burned books and burned Confucianism, causing losses of Asians of through the culture. The criminal law is harsh and the rules is cruel. Therefore, Qin Shi Huang is not only an emperor for 1,000 years, but also a tyrant. Under his rule, the mutual contract slowly emerged. Rulers should be friendly and chivalrous the govern the country. In this way, the rulers can receive a love for the people and the powerful country at the same time. In the other way, water can carry a boat but overturn it. Originally from the word from Imperial Tanzong Yi Shiming, the boat is better than the king, and the water is better than people, and the water can carry the boat and overturn the boat. It can be seen the Imperial Taizong of the time Disney had deep understanding of the relationship between the monarch and the people and realized the importance of people's strength. For instance, it's better to drink until you slight drunk. It's most beautiful when you see the flower half open. Drinking can dispel a cold and dehydration and punctuate the body, but extensive drink will harm the body. Water can carry the boat, but can overturn a boat when the wind is strong. In other words, anything if done properly and benefit us. But if there are no restraint, things will turn against each other when they reach the extreme and bring us harm. Therefore, we should have a degree to doing anything and discuss the descriptions to have a best result. Precautions for rulers to govern the country. Let themselves learn skills first, which is necessary for governing the country. Learning skills include learning books and social practice. We should have a good sporty ability to deal the world and the various adaptability, because human society is a complex group. Without dealing with social relations, it will be difficult to manage the country, let alone govern the country. Good at leading subordinate, we will lies the strength of all sectors to society to govern the development of country to the greatest extent possible. Make full use the learned knowledge and acquire social practical experience to make efforts to govern the country. We must rely on the strength of people to govern the country. Mark this science tells us that history created by people and these laws cannot be violent. Firmly believe and perseverance and believe that the country will be more prosperous and strong in its effect.